Greetings from Snake Mountain Boat Works on Monday, July 27, 2020. Here's an update and a few milestones that have just been crushed on our 1959 16.5-foot Lyman Runabout. As you can see, since we last visited with her, the topside strakes have now all been sanded, filled and faired, sanded again, filled and faired, sanded again, filled and faired, and we applied 3 coats of Pettit Ti-Coat primer, which is our go-to primer on lapstrake boats. And then we've applied the first 3 coats of Interlux Premium Yacht Enamel in semi-gloss white, which gives the perfect gloss for a Lyman. And while we've been away, Joe's been busy. As you can see, the foredeck has her new panels, her new king plank, her new tow rails. They were all just rotted beyond the beyond. And I would say they're looking rather snazzy now. The surface has been stained with Mike Mayer's Lowboat gel stain in Lyman. We used his Lyman stain that has the very typical brown sort of auburn cast. Joe has also, after a valiant effort that failed, replaced both covering boards. We'll get to the inside in a minute. He's replaced everything back here. We just couldn't save, well, not everything. This board right here, which is solid mahogany and is a main source of stiffness and strength to the aft end of the boat, along with the transom, of course, and the braces, which you can't see because they're beneath the engine box. But the entire engine box, its sides, its floor, well, everything had delaminated, was just rotted. We had all kinds of rot and delamination all in this area. The aft deck might have been saved, but we made a decision that since the foredeck and the covering boards are all brand new ribbon cut genuine mahogany marine plywood, we really owed it to the boat to also install the same ribbon cut marine genuine mahogany plywood on her aft deck and in her engine box. And as you can see as well, but not terribly well because it's kind of dark back here, but we have now completed her transom. Everything's been stained with Mike Mayer's Lake Oswego Boat Company Lyman gel stain. It's just wonderful, wonderful stain to work with. Gives you a wonderfully even result. And we've applied the first 3 coats of Smith's Clear Penetrating Epoxy Sealer. And then the 2 guys just had a most enjoyable series of days cleaning this bilge, cleaning the hull sides. But as you see, we were very careful not to rob this wonderful Lyman runabout of her patina and evidence of her age. All I have to do is swing right back here, where you can see the new strakes and the butt block, actually 3 butt blocks that Joe had to install. We will stain and color those up. We've got a few tricks, but there are tricks. One of the tricks, though, is that after all of the bright areas in the bilge and on the hull sides were scrubbed clean, we use a product called Roll-Off. And the directions suggest that you dilute it with water. Guess what? Put it in a spray bottle, full strength. You want to talk about cutting grease, grime, and dirt. And then, if you remember, this boat had a horrible hog in it. Along with the cleaning and varnishing of the hull sides and the other areas that were finished bright in the inside the hull, we use Sikkens Cetal Marine for this application, not Sikkens Cetal Gloss. Sikkens Cetal Marine. We've put a bit on to get started. We will be applying much more. The nice thing about the Marine is that it's so forgiving. You apply it, go enjoy your boat for a number of years. It will get the inevitable foot, shoe, you name it, screwdriver scuffs. Take a little 120 sandpaper, clean that area with acetone, and apply some more Sikkens Cetal Marine, and no one will ever be the wiser. Joe and Anthony also cleaned and applied Sandusky Paint Company Santan Lyman bilge paint to the entire bilge. But that was not until Joe did an incredible amount of work right in this area of the bilge. If you remember when we had her upside down, she was very, very spongy in this whole area. And that's because every one of these ribs had failed. At least failed to the extent that they were spongy. They weren't rotted, they were cracked and spongy. So, using furniture grade white oak, Joe fashioned sisters that have been applied both fore and aft each of the offending ribs, adhered in place with 3M 5200, and then screwed into the ribs from the side. So he did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of them, both sides. Well, I'll tell you, he got that all done. He's a big boy, likes his groceries. This thing doesn't even flex now. It is absolutely solid. What a major milestone. And that goes along with the milestone of, other than having to apply a bit more Sikkens Cetal Marine, we've pretty much blown past the interior rebuilding of this wonderful little Lyman, including her aft deck and engine box. She's square. We had to replace the spray rails. They were, it happens with so many boats. The problem is that this seam seldom seems to open up, but does sometimes. The real problem is that there's a spray rail, so it's got water hitting it on the underside all of the time. And we find those seams tend to open, water wicks up behind the spray rail and stays wet. Well, stays wet means stays rot. Now you can see one little spot here. This is why we apply 3 or so initial coats. One, as we work on the boat, we're going to scuff it. But also, if you look right here, you'll see that this seam needs a little bit more Thixoflex. So we'll open this up, seal it again, take a painter's brush and apply a little Ti-Coat primer right there so that we make sure that the top coat adheres well. But you know, it wasn't so long ago she was in here for the first time. I can't say that she was looking very, very proud of herself at that time. But now she can. We still face the challenge of the windshield frames, which are severely delaminated. I will speak with Tom Karakne, who has all of the molds, all of the everything needed to reproduce them, and we may just have to have them rebuilt. But until then, let's count them. Decks, king planks, tow rails, covering boards, engine box. That's a pretty good pile of milestones for one little boat. Over about the last, I can't remember when the last video was, 2 weeks ago. The guys have been working long hours and have really dedicated themselves to doing this as it should be done. This Lyman is going to be as close to museum quality as it can be once we are finished with her. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now from Snake Mountain Boat Works.